What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're here to kick off our post-2025 NFL Draft realistic rebuilds with the Cleveland Browns. I feel like this is there a better starting point? Kind of between the Browns and the Giants, but I think with how the Browns kind of browns this draft up by selecting Dillon Gabriel first, which was just bizarre. There's no other way to say it. Drafting Dillon Gabriel where they did, when they did, it was like, why not Shedeur? Why is the free fall for sure? And then out of nowhere, they're like, actually, we're also going to get Shedeur Sanders. Now, I think you could maybe convince yourself that, like, oh, it's going to be Kirk Cousins, RG3 all over again. It's good competition. But I think when you have the Deshaun Watson situation going on at quarterback, there's two sides to this. On one side is like, you got to get the quarterback position right. How about we get a little confidence in this position? And I don't think double drafting two QBs is going to do that. And I think that on the other side, there's maybe a feeling of desperation for the Browns of like, who cares? Our team's already a joke. Everyone thinks our quarterback situation is the worst in the league. So why not take a couple swings at potentially trying to find a franchise quarterback? For the sake of this rebuild, I am going to be a Shedeur truther, and he's going to start. I mean, that's a humble starting point. Most draft classes, if you're doing draft classes in Madden, had Shedeur as like a 72 to 75 hidden depth. The fact that he fell to where he did, I think 69 normal is a fair starting point for Shedeur Sanders. I think if it works out, what Shedeur Sanders brings, the intangibles that he brings, he could be the savior to the Cleveland Browns, if it works out, because he went to Jackson State. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that went into play, but at the end of the day, the feature presentation was Jackson State. Shedeur Sanders brought them back. Shedeur Sanders went to Colorado, took one of the worst programs in college football, and had them till the dying embers of last year in college football in the discussion for the college football playoff. The fact of the matter is he has gone to bad teams and made them better. And if for whatever reason that translates to the NFL, there is no perfect spot for him to do that than the Cleveland Browns. Outside of that, in the draft, we added Quinshon Judkins and Dillon Sampson, two nice running back pieces, as the Browns try and find a way to move on of Nick Chubb. So we're going to go with Judkins. I like the value of getting Judkins when they did. I didn't think it made a whole lot of sense to go Dillon Sampson again, because I think Ford's a fine RB2. Someone did make a pretty funny tweet saying that it's almost like the Browns went into auto draft, like that taco in your fantasy football league. It's like, all right, you got two quarterbacks and two running backs in the draft. What's going on here? But I think Judkins, absolutely all the capabilities of being a game changer there. The wide receiver room's not. Again, when you go double quarterback, double running back, you look at the wide receivers that they got. Jerry Jeudy had a breakout campaign. Sure, yeah, that's fine. You got Tillman, who could be a guy. Like right now, I'm looking optimistically like a mid to low tier wide receiver too. You got David Njoku, who's he's pretty much at his ceiling. He's not going to get a lot better than a 90 superstar. It's likely all going to be downhill from there. They get Harold Fannin Jr., who got a 71 overall, the tight end out of Bowling Green State. This is a guy that shattered tight end receiving records last year at Bowling Green, like well over 1,000 yards, like reception record. He was the leader. He led all receivers, tight ends and wide receivers included, in all stats last season. And then he went to the combine and didn't test, off the charts. Didn't look like a freak athlete or anything crazy like that. Kind of looked like a niche player. And the Browns went out and grabbed him. So, I guess technically from a pass catcher standpoint, that'll be interesting. And we need to get him involved in the offense. Offensive-wise, also kind of in a weird spot because you have Joel Bitonio. Feels like he's on that guy. Let's run it back for one more year, which is fine. You have the superstar Wyatt Teller coming off a bad season, but everyone's cautiously optimistic. I think everyone on this Browns has got to bounce back. And then you go get Tevin Jenkins, who was graded out very well by PFF last year as a guard for the Bears. His big knock has been injury, if he can stay healthy. But I don't really want an 83, 27-year-old bench guy. And Tevin Jenkins did start as a tackle, moved into guard. I don't really want to. It's just a really weird spot. If I wanted to maximize the O-line here, We do like Jenkins at right tackle, Conklin at left tackle, but then like DeJuan Jones is the only guy like worth developing on this team. He's on, from an offensive line standpoint, he's on his rookie contract, the big 6'8", 350-pounder. So it's just a weird spot for this all. I think for year one, this is going to be our best combination, and it's not super unrealistic, as I think Jenkins has played as much tackle as he has guard in his NFL career. And, you know, if the plan is Batoni retires after this year, then at least Jenkins is not losing a year of development, and then we can move him back to guard and worry about left and or right tackle a little bit later. The defense you feel a little bit more optimistic about. I feel like they let the board fall to them, and I'm pretty happy with all things considered. I mean, I have roasted Michael Hall a little bit. He had some off the field, but I've had some Brown fans chirp in the comments that it was not a, you know, he's good. He's good to be featured in videos is the last that I got. So we're going to try very athletic interior D lineman to pair that with first-round pick Mason Graham. The Browns traded back to select Mason Graham, and maybe he's not Travis Hunter, but I think for where this Browns team is at, it is a high floor, safe type pick, and if he pans out and the damage that him and Myles Garrett can do on that defensive line, you gotta be optimistic that it is going to work out if you are a Browns fan. I think outside of that, our secondary is pretty interesting. Denzel Ward, 91 superstar. We have Greg Newsome, reports where he might be on the trade block. I'd like to keep him. I'd like to have at least a strength of this Browns team, which could very well be this defense. Is Newsome, Emerson in particular. I think they still have a decently high ceiling. Same with Delpit. His best football could be ahead of him. The linebacking core, we have the veteran Jordan Hicks. We have the rookie Carson Schwesinger from UCLA. He was the first pick of the Browns in the second round. Arguably, if you're just looking at a pure off-ball linebacker, the best in the class, depending on how you view like Jahad Campbell, where he could be like a hybrid blitzer type thing. So strictly off-ball, the former walk-on for UCLA, Schwesinger, pulls a dev trait 72. He is going to absolutely have to be required upon to be a tackle machine for the Browns. That is because there is some uncertainty with a rough injury that JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, suffered last season, that they're a little bit worried about where he's going to be. And maybe Schwesinger was a little bit of an insurance policy, but this is Madden rebuild, baby. We're going to have a little bit of fun. JOK is going to be playing, and we're going to have him and Carson Schwesinger form maybe one of the best linebacking duos in the NFL. So all in all, as we go into year number one of this rebuild, we have got to see what Shedeur Sanders can do, but there's a lot of opportunity for some of these young players to pop off and make a name for themselves here in the Cleveland Browns situation, where our team is ultimately going to be in a holding pattern until we can get rid of the quarterback that will not be shown here. But we have one of the ugliest, I don't even say one of, we have the ugliest contract situation for a single player in the entirety of the NFL. And we're going to have to manage this roster and team and expectations, I think, until we get you-know-whose contract out the books. So until that time, let's see a little development out of some of our young bucks. Let's see if we can get Shedeur Sanders off that normal dev. Let's see if we can get him thriving with Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku. Well, let's go, Shedeur. Let's see a gold medal, buddy. That's what I need to see. We might even get a silver. Boom. You want to go up dev trait. You want to have a breakout campaign. You want to prove all the haters wrong. The league blackballing you, trying to humble you on draft day. You got to get a gold medal. Because we got Dillon, Gabriel. We got two rookie quarterbacks here. And he said, you know what? I bet you I can get a gold medal. I bet you I'll get a gold medal. And maybe we consider me as a quarterback one. Oh, come on. I think we can actually get one more of these things. Boom. It's something to consider. Things don't look good. We have another option. Now look, it's the drama already. It's the drama that the Browns have welcomed. The argument could be made just from this little snippet that Dillon Gabriel had the better camp than Shedeur Sanders. What are we doing giving Shedeur the starting job? Is it publicity? Are we trying to move merch, sell jerseys? Are we going with the best chance for this team to win? Because off of training camp, one got a gold medal, one struggled to get a silver. Well, we're going with Shedeur. We'll give him the chance. So to start year number one, ahead of our matchup against Dallas, which is a perfect opportunity to make a debut with Shedeur Sanders, we are using brand new draft classes. I am doing this series on PC. There's actually potentially something called an Ultimate Rookie mod dropping soon, which If it's fire, I will show it with you guys. But I'm going to be using PC draft classes, so if there's a player, I got 3 realistic ones coming up, so if someone's like, oh, this guy's absolutely going to declare next year, like there's a couple of, like, Arch Manning is in 2027, which I think is likely, but there's also a lot of players, like is Lenore Sellers going to declare? Some of the big names, it's a little bit of a gambling game, but I think the fact that I'm going to include both draft classes at minimum, 2026, 2027, we're going to have those big name college players be involved in these realistic rebuilds going forward, even if the years that they declare are not maybe 100% realistic. So it's a very interesting class for us. I do think wide receiver is a position that we need to take note of. Zakarian Branch, Carnell Tate, Evan Stewart. We got a North Dakota State guy out of nowhere. A couple small school players, Deuce Robinson, Barry and Brown. I mean, maybe it's not the strongest. Got Trey Wilson here from Florida, wide receiver class, but there are some options there. Offensive line, it's a good year to need a tackle. State of our offensive line, question mark. Jack Conklin's best football could be behind him. You have Caden Proctor is going to be one of the hyped up players for this upcoming draft class. Same with Maui Goa, Fano, Isaiah World. Like there's upwards of 4 to 5 offensive tackles that are in the pool of being first round caliber players. We also have Dunker down here out of Iowa. He's another guy that could be very realistic to end up going in the first round. We got some talented D-line. Ruben Bain, TJ Parker, Dennis Sutton from Penn State. We got Womack Lawrence and Uyunglele rounding out the first round. Like those guys would be, is there a true partner in crime long-term to play next to Myles Garrett on that D-line with Mason Graham, and hopefully Michael Hall continues to develop? We could go all in on defense and give Jim Schwartz every weapon possible to make it go things. We got Harold Perkins is in this next class. Where's he got to go? Anthony Hill, another guy that should go first round, very similar to like a Jahad Campbell type. A lot of depth at linebacker. Got some other pass rushers here. Trey Moore, Patrick Payton, Derek Moore. All could be in that bubble for first round caliber players. Malik Muhammad, Takario Davis, Terrell, AJ Terrell's brother, Everett Delane. A lot of depth at corner. Maybe contract negotiations don't go our way, and we may need to consider that. Caleb Downs, blue chip player in every sense of the word, is going to be an absolute beast. So a lot of names there for the 2026 draft class that we need to think about. But right now, we need to prioritize this 2025 class and see what kind of juice they can give us. Week 1, hosting the Dallas Cowgirls. All right, let's see it. First completion. Do we go to... a couple options. I think we just get this to Njoku. There we go. The seal's been broken. Let's go be great. First big shot, and it goes to Jerry Jeudy into Cowboys territory. Got a big 3rd and 9 here. Need a conversion. Harold Fannin quickly. Boom. On the inside. Free release. And Fannin, rookie to rookie. First career touchdown for both. And the dog pound is going wild. Man, Fannin is catching everything. We're going to see if we can hit him with a quick slants here as well. Tillman. It's a mismatch. 6'3". Oh. What about Quinshon Judkins? It's not just trying to find a brand new quarterback. We are trying to replace the great Nick Chubb with a piece of the national championship offense here. I think forever, especially in the Browns case. Those two guys are going to be tied, the careers. Judkins and Travion Henderson. Who is going to have the better career? You don't want to be on the losing end of that debate. Oh my God. Take the points. Njoku, Fannin. Try it again. Boom. Right there, middle. David Njoku. Not going to find a bigger Shedeur Sanders fan, I don't think, on the Browns camp than Njoku, according to Instagram after the selection. Let's see it. We had to break out a big run for Quinshon Judkins, and let's be honest, Shedeur Sanders, a 5th-round pick. If he ever becomes quarterback, if he gets to start, you're going to need that run game. Take the pressure off him. We haven't done a great job, but maybe we'll take over in the second half. Love to have Judkins go over 100 yards in his debut. Add his name to a long list of great Browns running backs. A couple runs. Might be able to get him to bite here on a play-action pass. Here to Jerry Jeudy. There's nothing there. Had free yards. Didn't take it. Got greedy. Drive stalls. Ooh! That's a ball to Tillman. Let's go. Tied at 17. What a throw by Shedeur Sanders. Between two DBs. Woo! The placement. The anticipation. We got a very nice Greg Newsome pick on classic Dak Prescott move. Fourth quarter. Season opener. And we're going to try to put this game away with a Judkins dagger. Let's go. Biggest run of the game. Killing it off. Not a bad debut. All the brand new shiny toys. Played as expected. Played better than expected. Good start. Let's go, Shedeur. Future's bright. I've had a week 3 victory over the Giants with JOK. Blocked by my beautiful face, but a 10-tackle, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recovery, defensive player of the week performance. So at roughly the mid-season point, we're 4-2. We just sure got our cheeks slapped by the Eagles, but they're the Eagles, and we get a tough stretch coming up with the Bengals and Ravens back-to-back. But a 4-2 start for the Browns is still a 4-2 start with a very young roster. Now the badness is Newsome, Emerson, Hickman starting for us right now. I'd say there's a fairly easy 3 guys I would automatically re-sign if the funds were, especially Emerson. That is a deal, but we are $5 million in the red, so we are not going to be able to negotiate with anyone in season. We're going to have to wait till season's end. Hopefully the salary cap goes up, and maybe we can work with who's contract to free up some funds, because if not, our secondary is, we'll say, screwed. And then if you're number 1, a mixed bag of a season, but I think if you told most Cleveland Brown fans that Shedeur Sanders ended up being your starting quarterback and you went 7-10 in your first season, had some huge wins along the way. We put up almost 50 points earlier in the season against the Saints, 48 against the Dolphins. Unfortunately, couldn't close out the year with a win against the Ravens. But you look at the rankings, kind of middle of them all across the board. We get a top 10 defense. Jim Schwartz got them boys playing. From a statistical standpoint, Shedeur Sanders was, pretty middle of them all. Not a bad rookie season. I think if you put it in perspective, not like a typical Madden quarterback rookie season, but real life rookie quarterback season. 3,900 yards, 28 touchdowns to 16 picks with a 66% completion percentage, as well as another 300 yards on the ground and 4 total touchdowns. So you're going 32 total touchdowns for a rookie campaign for a team that has 1 wide receiver. All the respect we got Njoku and Fannin at tight end. We have 1 playmaker at wide receiver. That's not bad, and that's going to be something we're going to try to build upon this offseason if we can free up some funds, or in the draft as I focus scouted wide receivers ahead of the 2026 NFL class. Judkins goes over 1,000 yards, 1,200 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Not a bad start to his career. On a receiving standpoint, Jerry Jeudy does go over 1,000 yards, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. We get just 1 yard shy of 905 touchdowns for Cedric Tillman. 7-7 in Njoku, 7-7 for the rookie Harold Fannin. That's actually really, really nice production for him. On a defensive standpoint, JOK and Schwesinger, both over 100 tackles. We get 14.5 sacks from Myles Garrett. I know he got more in him. He can do a lot better than that. Mason Graham with a modest start, 42 tackles, 13 TFLs, 3.5 sacks. Want to untap him a little bit, let him go after the quarterback. 6 picks Denzel Ward and 6 picks for Greg Newsome, who, because of our salary cap situation, the price has only gone up for him. He likely will get a depth trade increase. And hopefully we can figure out a way to re-sign him. Don't want to let him go for free. Ashton Jeanty wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Judkins and Sanders, 2 and 3. Harold Fannin at number 6. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Carson Schwesinger with Mason Graham as a runner-up. We start the offseason with an expected but still big loss on the offensive line amongst other retirements. Joel Bitonio retires after 12 seasons. Certainly one of the better linemen, especially interior linemen the Browns have ever had. We look at our team's dev trade at season's end. No dev traits gone up offensively for Shedeur Sanders or Quinshon Judkins, but we do get a dev trait for Harold Fannin. 700 yards, 7 touchdowns. That is, you know, he kind of lined up wide receiver, slot, backup tight end. It is compared against other tight ends, which gained him a dev trait increase. We won't complain about that. On the defensive side of the ball, Mason Graham, just a star dev. Greg Newsome was star, goes up to superstar after his 6-pick season, of course, out of contract as it stands. And Carson Schwesinger, getting Defensive Rookie of the Year, ends his rookie campaign as a superstar linebacker. Now, before we look at re-signing our Greg Newsomes, etc., it is time that we can actually kind of break even releasing Deshaun Watson. $35 million dead cap, but $46 million of that is freed to the salary cap. Good riddance. So we gained some wiggle room by moving off Deshaun Watson's contract. It allows us to at least entertain some offers here. Greg Newsome, 26. I'd love to get him for 4 years. I don't know if we'd get him for under 40. So let's try that. 4-year, 40, locked in. We also have Martin Emerson, I think another player you want to try and continue to grow and develop. Let's go 5-year, and we'll go 3, 2.5. 5-year, 27.5. Wants to play for a new team next year. What's the franchise tag number? $20 million. That's a little pricey. I think we still potentially hit him up on the open market. I think Ronnie Hickman at safety. I mean, I don't hate that, to continue to develop that a little bit. Maybe we'll go 4-year, round that up. 4-year, 18 mil. Oh, wow. This guy's got a hell of an agent. So as we start free agency, have a little bit of playing around money, looking at some of the top gets. Wide receivers, interesting. This is where we did our homework in the draft. Would it be more beneficial to save our funds, go elsewhere, and then just attack wide receiver draft? Got a couple nice, interesting bits. We have Olave, 26 superstar is available. You got Hollywood Brown, you got Romeo Doubs, Alec Pierce, all his options. But nothing that's making me go, yes, we have to go target that player. Because I am going to spend money elsewhere. We have Dax Hill, who's like a slot, corner, safety hybrid. I'd like to bring him in and move him to free safety. I'd like to bring back Martin Emerson to be our third corner. And Kayvon Thibodeau hit the open market. That could be maybe playing next to Myles Garrett on the other side. Could make life a little bit easier for him. And we can reach that untapped potential that he showed at Oregon that failed to really ever show as a member of the New York Giants. And we get all 3 of these targets. Huge, huge free agency. Look at the final 2026 mock draft. Very interesting top end of the board here. Drew Aller, looks like the Cardinals giving up a Kyler Murray. Caleb Downs going at 4. We are selecting just inside the top 10. Malik Muhammad at corner, no thank you. We are more interested. I mean, Peter Woods could be interested. But as far as positioning, it is wide receiver. And it looks like we are going to have the pick of the litter for the wide receivers that are available. We could also look at tackle. As left tackle, Maui Goa could absolutely be in place. Same with Caden Proctor or Isaiah World. All right, let's go. We got 2 picks to work with. Pick 9, our own. Pick 20, the selection we got from the Jacksonville Jaguars to do business and allow them to get Travis Hunter. So at pick 9, we're going to have our pick of the litter at offensive tackle. Caden Proctor staring us in the face. Clear first-round talent. Also did a lot of homework on the wide receivers. I like the information. Now, I will say no bona fide studs by any means. But as it stands right now, best player available, absolutely Caden Proctor. Let's just run that one up to the podium as our offensive line shuffles around. No disrespect to DeJuan Jones, but limited ceiling for DeJuan Jones, running out of years on that rookie contract. So being able to bring in Caden Proctor, who ends up being number 6 in true value, getting him at pick 9, 95 strength, hidden dev trait, franchise left tackle. You got the quarterback we think. We got the running back. We got Jerry Jeudy as a wide receiver 1. All that's missing on the offense as far as pillars are concerned. Franchise tackle, we just got that. And unfortunately, our top wide receiver, Carnell Tate, goes to the Bengals. How many wide receivers do they need? That is unbelievable. We are now at 20 with, I mean, We got value. We could wait on wide receivers for sure. I mean, secondary needs for our team. After getting Kayvon Thibodeau, we don't need another pass rusher. Keldrick Falk would be great value. 6'5", 288. But we like our D-line where it's at. Linebacking core, again, feel pretty good. Secondary, feel real good. Safeties, we feel pretty good. We're in a spot where I hate to kind of get in the habit of kicking the can down the road, but what kind of value can we get for pick 20 in this first round? We can get a 2026 first, which we can from the Vikings, as well as a second in 2 years' time. 2, 3, still get a third this year from Seattle. 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. Whoa, but that's just kicking back this year. So I need that 2026 first. And I kind of like this one from Seattle because I get that first and I get a third round next year. Oh, but that second rounder in I'm going to take this one from the Vikings because I think in 2027, that is the year that we're going to go to the Madden generated classes. That second rounder will be very nice. And that's the reason why we trade out, because we can still get maybe the best wide receiver. But I've scouted the entire class. We're getting a second, third round grade on Elijah Surratt, who was Curtis Rourke's favorite wide receiver at Indiana. Not a crazy combine. But at this point on the board, second round, get to trust the scouting. Oh, no. No. Again, not my draft classes. God damn. Now looking in the third round, I think Ethan Posich pretty much at his ceiling. We got Parker Brailsford, who likely will be the top center in the class, available to us. Likely a BPA selection, 75 at 73. And that is our second lineman with a dev trait from this class. And I needed a punter, and we end up getting Brett Thorson from Georgia, number 8 in the class at punter. So all in all, pretty decent class, considering our other first-round pick was kicked down the road for a future first next season, as well as a second rounder in 2 years' time. Caden Proctor, 77 with a dev trade at 9 is huge. 71 for Surratt's not brutal. 72 dev trade for Brailsford. Absolutely can work with that. A couple depth pieces, and then we finish with borderline generational punter. Take a look at some contracts. It is so nice for this team. We're not going to... Sometimes like to preview our record. We're not going to talk about our record right now. It's a little disappointing, but our contract looks great. We have plenty of room to negotiate. We got Tevin Jenkins looking for a 2-year for the rest of his prime. So we'll lock him in there at left guard. We have Njoku at 30. Man, he's looking for a 4-year deal. I think this is where you bring in Harold Fannin. That's why you draft him. You knew you're not going to pay Njoku at 30 what he wants. I think Wyatt Teller on the offensive line. He does have that dev trade, so if we can lock him in for 2 years, just one last position we have to worry about. And at the end of year number 2, kind of, well, you know, it's literally the exact same. Back-to-back seasons of 7 and 10, but not expected to be. I love looking at the defense. Jim Schwartz, number 1 defense in the NFL, number 1 pass yards defense. Our offense developing, but still not giving us the on-field performance that we want. I think we are hurry with the fact we don't have an X factor at wide receiver. All due respect, in a perfect scenario, Jerry Jeudy is like, you know, you have a wide receiver 1A, 1B tandem, and he's your B, and you got an A. The bummer is those interceptions for Shedeur Sanders are, it's a little much, man. We need to cut that in half. I don't know if, you know, this year we get a better, this is a very talented wide receiver class. Maybe, but then we're at 7 and 10. We're not going to have a top pick. We do have 2 first-round picks. We'll figure it out. But there's still some positives there. Don't love Judkins falling under 1,000 yards. I thought we'd have a little bit of like a Nick Chubb 2.0 here. Receiving, Jerry Jeudy still had a hell of a year. I mean, he was in the slot. 85 catches, 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. Tillman, Njoku, Surratt. I mean, would like to see a little bit more. Harold Fannin just wasn't utilized at all, which is annoying. Defensively, no 100 tacklers. Our pass rush was on point, though. 18.5 sacks, Myles Garrett. 11.5, Mike Hall. 11 from Thibodeau. And 10 on 15 TFLs for Mason Graham. So that is dream scenario for how the defense is playing. Our interceptions not as high as they were a year ago, but I will take high sacks over picks every day of the week. Maybe just personal preference. No award winners for the good guys, which is a little annoying, but maybe the good news is offensively, Jerry Jeudy makes the jump from star up to superstar. Harold Fannin keeps his dev trait, which I thought with him barely being used was going to come back to bite us in the ass, and the fact of the matter is, we'll make, I don't know, maybe this Bates guy fullback for the time being. We're going to let Njoku walk, and Fannin is going to get the start at tight end. Caden Proctor, superstar dev trait on the franchise left tackle. Brailsford as just a star, but you feel pretty good. I mean, Teller was a superstar, so you kind of just move that over on the dev trade here, the O-line. But, I mean, you make an argument. We get like a big-time wide receiver. Shedeur Sanders is an 82 overall right now. You know, their talent is there. I think we just have to get, you know, maybe that missing piece at wide receiver. On the defensive side, as far as dev traits are concerned, Mason Graham makes the jump from star up to a superstar, which is sick. We lose, unfortunately, the superstar on Newsome. Dang. So, dev traits moved around, but not necessarily gaining anything on either side of the ball. Look at the most recent mock draft. Jeremiah Smith going 1. Ryan Williams going 7. Ryan Wingo at 8. We have pick 11 and 19. And I'll tell you right now, we are not, okay, we can, if Jeremiah Smith's going 1, so be it. We are not missing out on Ryan Williams as well. We will be very aggressive, and at worst, getting the second best wide receiver of an elite wide receiver class. I think that's what we're missing. Now, don't tempt me now. 0 interest, which is humbling, but you got an X Factor in Rashee Rice. You have a star dev in Zay Flowers, and if we were able to poach him away, that is guaranteeing that the Baltimore Ravens aren't as good next season. But also, I think we positioned ourselves well in the draft to maybe get a big-time playmaker on a very reasonable contract. Taking a look at the final mock draft. We have got to move up to 5. Which means probably both our firsts. But maybe we'll be able to get... maybe we'll be able to get something next year back from Miami. 2 firsts. How many spots are we trying to jump up? 6 spots. Hey, I'll take that. 2 top 20 picks. It will move up to 5, and we get a second-round pick next year from the Dolphins. It's a fair trade. Happy with that. We have 2 seconds next year on top of our own first. You can't make it up, dude. Ryan Williams goes 1 pick. That is disgusting. But it's because I passed on Zay Flowers in free agency. Now what the hell are we going to do? I mean, fuck, I mean, not the end of the world, but brutal. We're also going to try some of our O-line scouting, as Wyatt Teller is pretty much just on a rental for now. So we have Raymond Polito from Arizona. First, second round talent. 42 reps, 43 reps at the combine on the bench press. It's a nice selection, even though no dev trait. I think we go back to our scouting here. We scout the wide receivers. We still have 2 guys at face value that are value. We have Mike Matthews from Tennessee. Ran a 4.38. Okay, so a little bit more of a speedster. Or we could take a look here at Trader. Josiah Trader from Miami. The U. B catching traffic. Neither one of those guys is necessarily screaming draft me. I suppose we'll go with the more athletic Mike Matthews. Second, third round talent. So he's probably going to be a 70-plus player. 74 at 75. No dev trait. So take a look at a recap. I mean, hey, Tyson's 78 dev trait. It's not probably, if he's 78, makes you wonder what Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith are. But without peeking and looking at other people's homework, I don't really want to spoil the classes. Am I happy trading up 2 firsts for a 78? No. but it still could have been a lot worse. Considering we got absolutely screwed on the mock draft, but it's a mock draft. Maybe we screwed ourselves for believing in the mock draft. Let's be happy with what we got. 78 dev trait is really, really nice. Polito 72. We got Matthew 70. A couple 60s, 70 corner here. Amari Smith at a Tennessee Chattanooga. Peyton Bowen at safety. Another guy that could potentially go in 2026. One of the top DBs in college football. But generally speaking, 470 plus rated players for our final realistic class of the video. Could have been a lot worse. Especially, like, thank God there's this third place wide receiver in this class. Okay, I did have to peek at least here at Ryan Williams. So we lost 2 points overall. I would have felt so much better, though, with the athletic profile and an 80 dev trait for giving up 2 first-round picks. They don't even need them. They have neighbors. Now to year 3, we're starting to see some progress. Record's a little bit better. Maybe a chance to finish better than 7-10. Our rankings, our defense, still playing at a hot level. Our offense, our passing yards last year was 32nd. So 19th is progress. Our rush game is starting to figure it out a little bit. You think Cleveland Browns, you think good, strong run game. Judkins has more than enough talent if we just feed him the football. So maybe that's a shift here, and hopefully running the football more will cut down on Shedeur Sanders' interceptions. Look at a contract almost $200 million, but this is when we need to start paying guys. So we're going to let Conklin likely walk. We got those 2 second-round picks in the upcoming class. I think we're going to do some work with that. Delpit, I don't hate a 3-year. I don't want any more years. I could pay him a little more. 3-year 24, nice. We got 2-year 32 going to Denzel Ward to ensure that his at least remainder of his prime is with Cleveland, if not outright retires with the Browns. We got a 4-year, $74 million deal for Jerry Jeudy, our superstar wide receiver. Keep him happy. He's earned it. These next 2 are going to be pricey. 4 years, $102 million for Mike Hall, who broke out with double-digit sacks last year. 24 years old. That's pretty appropriate. That's about the going rate. We got 4 years, $69 for JOK. I did have to move him to middle linebacker, so he wasn't asking for $130 million as an edge rusher. And I feel like around $70 million is what he would get on another contract. I need to keep him and Schwesinger together. Ooh, this is what we want to see, too. 2-game win streak going into our bye in the Travis Hunter versus Shedeur game. 38-20 to the good guys. And it's a double as Shedeur Sanders, 4-touchdown performance. Mike Hall, fresh off a $100 million contract extension, 4 sacks. I think we're making the playoffs this year. A couple things to break down at the end of the regular season. We go 10-7, so we inverse our record. Our offense slowed down a little bit, but still better than where it was, and our defense is still the backbone of this team. Also, the dev trait on Mr. Jordan Tyson, the 3rd place bronze medal, an 8 bronze dev trait. It is gold. He is a superstar dev, so that is absolutely awesome. We can work with that. That makes me go from like furious about our draft pick to like I can work with it. Shedeur Sanders cut down on the interceptions, and if we can get, I mean, again, you still got to remember this was a 69 normal dev starting quarterback, fell to the 5th round maybe for a reason. So I was not expecting him to play like an MVP candidate or anything like that, and we've been working on getting the skill positions up. But I mean, he's still 83 overall. He's going to be very expensive come contract extension time, so we got to maybe get more of a clear picture of what his ceiling is at in case we can't win a Super Bowl before it's time to pay him. We get back over 1,000 yards for Judkins, which I'm happy to see. Receiving, we get 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns for Tyson, under 1,000 for Jeudy. So we're not, and I mean, the numbers for Shedeur aren't crazy, so it might be difficult to facilitate 2,000-yard receivers here in this Browns offense, maybe consistently. I think we could do it. 600 yards, 6 touchdowns for Surratt, 5 and 7 for Harold Fannin. Like, those are, you know, all 4 of our guys that we want to get production got decent production, but maybe only the rookie is happy about it at the end of the year. JOK with a nice season, 113 tackles, 10 TFLs, 3 picks. We get 15.5 sacks, Myles Garrett, 10.5 Thibodeau, 10 from Mike Hall, 7.5 for Mason Graham. The defense still playing at a pretty high level. Sacks are good, maybe a little less than what they were a year ago. 4 picks, Newsome, 3 for JOK, 2 for Denzel Ward in the picks department. We get an award winner as Jordan Tyson wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, joining Carson Schwesinger for a Defensive Rookie of the Year nod in these first 3 years of the rebuild. So we've hit on some of our rookies on both sides of the football. And I think it's this year, now that we're in the playoffs, maybe go on a Cinderella run, have these young bucks take the league over, let everyone know the Browns are for real. But also, with a inconsistent, not super OP passing attack, all these games are going to feel like an absolute grind. If we had an offense that was throwing for 40, 50 touchdowns, I'd be like, let's go, game on. The fact of the matter is we're going to have to win by low-scoring defense. It's going to be tough, especially when you get matched up against a very explosive offense in the 2-seed Bengals. Kept it close, 27-23, but unfortunately, we're going to have to wait another season for our first playoff win. Man, Carnell Tate, who could have been our pick. We got sniped and or robbed, however you want to break it down. The last two drafts at wide receiver pretty harshly defensively. You know what? Hey, that's a hell of a playoff debut for Mason Graham. Dev traits as we close of the season. Let's not act surprised. Chiefs won the Super Bowl again. Judy loses his superstar, which kind of sucks. No dev traits up. Defensively, we have no dev traits up or down, so I guess everyone maintains. How come they never want us? They never just want to come help us out. I'd love to splash on a wide receiver. We get Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy, and Keon Coleman. All yes sir type guys that I would take on a instance. No. And we're not in the business of overpaying. We have likely a Shedeur contract that we're going to have to deal with. As we go to our first pick in the draft, we have a first and 2 seconds. We did obviously scout wide receiver again because we're in that constant pursuit, plus Jerry Jeudy losing his dev trait. And look what we have here. James Wilkinson of Ohio State, a top 5 talent that we could probably get in the second round. I'd be very surprised if he goes. If not, we got a first, second rounder on this guy here, Jaquelin Bean, 6'5", 230. 4'4", 40 inch. So I feel like either one of those two guys, if we wait in the second round, that's going to be awesome. Tackle is where we really need help. I didn't think Porter was going to be available. I only scouted Franklin and Bell thinking they were the only two. Both have A, pass block, bulk. He has B, run block. I think this is easy get. Right tackle, we get in Franklin. And then worry about the wide receivers later. Come on, baby. 30. Yeah. Not the best, not the worst. Dev traits all that matters. So we have pick 2 in the second round. Ooh. When's our next pick? I wonder, let's say. Our next pick at 11. So I have 2 and 11. We've scouted some really nice talent. Safety, Grant Delpit's the player in our secondary that's kind of at his ceiling right now as far as, like, I actually think he went down and regressed a point. Caleb Spiller, first rounder, 3 Bs and a C. Ooh, I mean, he looks really good, too. I think the fact of the matter is, if I want to lead this draft, I mean, is there a chance between 2 and 11 we lose both these wide receivers? Because Wilkinson's top 5, but I think the athletic profile of Bean makes him, like, honestly, it's like a 1A, 1B situation. We also could look at corner with Denzel Ward getting a little bit older, but there's not much there. Okay, what's the big board look like? What about the inverse? What if I grab that wide receiver? What are the odds of that safety still available? We'll do it. We'll go wide out, and hopefully that safety's still there. Number 4 in true value at 34. Hell yeah. And the gamble paid off. Dude, we still have another set. Like, if I actually kind of want all these guys, I'm going to be honest with you. If I can get Spiller and I can still get Bean, like, just overkill at wide receiver, I might have to do that. But there we go. We get Spiller, number 6 in true value at 43. Let's go. Very rare to get a both 90 acceleration and speed safety. We are killing it. Unfortunately, Bean went at 45 to the Niners, so we don't have that temptation. Maybe that's for the best. I'm going to be honest. Kind of looking through, like, we could go O-line BPA in the secondary. Don't have much scouting done, which is kind of unfortunate. However, when you're kind of just looking here in the corners, Justin Porter, 6'3". I was like, okay, 6'3", 210. We have Carlos Gale, 6'3", 200 pounds out of Auburn, who has A-man B-zone coverage. Now, I don't really need to start thinking. I don't think about, like, Denzel Ward's successor. I think that's still a little early, but clearly this guy's a freak of nature. Elite speed as well. Run that one up to the podium. Dude. I mean, Franklin 74 dev trade, Wilkinson 76 dev trade, Spiller 76 dev trade, Gales 79. He might have still been there in the third round with a dev trade. We finish up with a 6th round 70 Josh Bankston dev trade out of Washington. This is why it's almost, I almost need to have the first 2 years be like realistic classes, because if I don't know. I think it'd just be way too easy for me to rebuild these teams with just these generated draft classes. Now, I do want to see Bean. Just out of curiosity, 74, 6'5", 93 speed, 93 jumping. Pretty good. What's the dev trait? Hopefully it's just a star. If not, if it's superstar, then we just got a little bit of pressure on our wide receiver. And it's only a star dev, so we can live with that. All in all, that is an outstanding draft. That is the kind of draft class you have when it's like, yeah, we're gonna win the Super Bowl within the next couple years. So I think with the progress that we've made, just naturally, with the draft class that we have, branding a brand new right tackle, a brand new slot wide receiver, a brand new defense featuring unreal depth. We have Gales. I got to get him on the field. There's no way I could draft the #1 player in the class and not get him on the field over Emerson, which leads me to ask a question like, trade block? Like, we got so much. Like, I'm not worried about Banks, and that was kind of just value, and Spiller was drafted to succeed Delpit, but like, I mean, what can we get for Grant Delpit? Anything? What's the going rate there? Taking a look. I mean, we get an RB2. We have a Maury Washington D tackle. Ooh. Like, yeah, they would never make that move. So it's just, you always say, C4, why don't you make trades? Like, it's just like a lot of times trades don't make a whole lot of sense. Might as well just, I'm not going to get ripped off for the sake of like, well, I don't want Delpit. I might as well get a 5th round pick. Like Spiller, we'll see the field a little bit. Have him as our 3rd sub linebacker. Like, I think we'll do everything we can scratch the claw to get him as many snaps as possible. I suppose we could see with Emerson. What do we got? Something interesting. Like 3rd round pick, done. It's literally the same players. Just kind of shuffled around a little bit. Luke Reynolds, tight end. I could see, you know what? I'll take that trade just because you never know when it comes time to pay Harold Fannin. Give me 2 options at tight end. Draft immaculate vibes going into the season. Week 1, we beat a legit playoff contender in the 49ers with a player of the week performance from Myles Garrett. 6 tackles, 4 sacks. Good start. So just upgraded my players as we go through. Almost at the mid-season point, almost ready to talk contracts. Spiller, who's not playing, behind Delpit, superstar def. He's getting little minutes here and there across the board. So, upon learning this information, we are going to make an adjustment to the lineup. And have we got any other dev traits unveiled? Franklin, just a star. We still don't know Wilkinson. Defensively, we got, well, Spiller's a dev trait. Gales, just a star. So it's, I mean, we played the odds, played the percentages, maybe too many star dev roles for all of the hidden devs. We still got 2 yet to unveil, but with this information, we are going to bump Spiller there. And now I think, now that we know for sure, like, come on, give me like a 4th, look, there we go, a 4th round pick. We're getting a little bit better offers. Jalen Warren. This Washington guy, like, he looks solid, but, like, our D tackles are, there's no way. The only way that would make sense if I'm worried about re-signing Mason Graham, which I don't. So I think we'll take this trade here from the Colts and get kind of like a swing tackle, but ultimately the value is a 4th round pick. So mid-season, last year, 10-7, like to go forward. Like, I'll be honest, like, I need that to kind of be our floor this season. 10 wins minimum. I think we have 12 wins in our bag. 5-2 at mid-season. Gives us a great spot. $87 million, so our salary gap is slowly starting to dry up a little bit. $20 million for Tevin Jenkins at this price point. I think I'd like to get a little younger. I'd like to have a sense of optimism versus how we drafted last year. That looking at both Wyatt Teller and Jenkins, I should be able, as long as they're there, be able to find and pool our resources in to find some good guards. I will also set that as our focus scout position as we need to replace both of them. Late in the season, felt like we lost 2 in a row. This gonna be like a stumble towards the finish line. 2 in a row again, and we got 45 points Green Bay, on the back of a 5-touchdown Shedeur Sanders performance. That's probably his best game of his career. So there's good and bad news as we end year number 4. The good news is we go 13-4. We're one of the best teams in the NFL. Our defense is scary. The not great news is our passing offense. It would be cool to have this whole thing led by Shedeur Sanders, but I didn't choose to start our post-2025 NFL draft with the Browns with the idea that, like, oh, all right, we're going to get this steal in Shedeur and he's going to be X factor and light the league up and all that. I was like, no, I kind of almost want to embrace the challenge and try to make it work with Shedeur, and that's exactly what we're doing with a strong run game and a very, very good defense. And every now and again, Shedeur will pop in with a 5-touchdown performance. 3,700 yards, 33 touchdowns, 10 picks. Also, it was 5 on the ground, so 37 touchdowns. And by 37, I mean 38. We'll say when it comes time and he looks for $400 million, something like that, could be a tough decision to be made, but getting close to 40 tutties, you can work with that. Judkins, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. We had 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns for Tyson, 7 and 6 for Fannin, 7 and 5 for Judy, 7 and 8 for the rookie James Wilkinson. Last time we checked in, he was hidden dev. Unfortunately, just a start. So all the dev trade players that we got look great. The fact that we only left with one superstar stings a little bit. Defensively, JOK, tackle machine. Myles Garrett, 19 sacks, 12 for Mason Graham on top of 19 TFLs. Love seeing that for the first round pick. 14 TFLs, 11 sacks for Thibodeau. He's completely turned his career around. Literally got, I don't want to say disrespected, but he got thrown to the side when the Giants selected Abdul Carter. He clearly became the odd man out because they aren't going to get rid of Brian Burns. And we gave him a fresh start, and he is killing it since he's been there. A couple duo picks, 2 for Ward, Gales, and JOK. Love seeing that from the number 1 player in last year's class, the 6'3 corner out of Auburn. Ends his rookie campaign as an 83 star to have sky's the limit. Our early award winner is James Wilkinson for winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. As we have the runners-up in defensive with Gales at 2, Spiller at 3. But everything is progressive, and this year against a damn good Jets team. 88 overall. That is got to be one of the better rosters in the AFC. We got to get our first win of this era with the Browns. Last year, won it on the playoffs. Not good enough, but that is a tough roll. Sometimes you can get like an 83, 84, 82 overall team in the wild card round. Not an 88, but it does not matter. We throw some points on them. 34-28. Overtime win. Let's go. Not great showing from either Baker Mayfield or Shedeur Sanders. They kind of just tried to out-mid one another. But luckily, you look at the positives. 4 touchdowns for Shedeur Sanders. 2 of them going to the rookie Wilkinson. Defensively, we got 2.5 sacks from Myles Garrett. Takes the game over. And 2 picks from Greg Newsome. And the Browns are moving on. And we get our first playoff win. Huge. Huge progress. Good baby steps. Can we spiral this into a Cinderella run? In the division round, we get the 11-6 Denver Broncos. 85 overall. On paper, not as good as the New York Jets, but they have the number 1 overall defense in the NFL, led by Pat Surtain, Nick Bonito roaring off the edge. They got Jahdae Barron. Oh, no. JOK Player of the Week performance not good enough. As another very close nail-biter loss, 27-24. And we blew it. We allowed them to get 17 points in the 4th. We ran out of juice. Shedeur Sanders outduels Bo Nix. Run game's kind of a push. No receiver really stood out, but on the defensive side of the ball, our great defense, honestly, we had way more sacks. I don't know how the fuck we lost that one, to be honest with you. But you know what? The makeup of our roster, we go out and replace our guards in the draft and or free agency. Our team's just going to keep getting better, right? We have a great salary cap situation. Wilkinson for winning Offensive Rookie of the Year goes from star up to superstar. So we now have Tyson as our clear-cut wide receiver 1. And honestly, we're put Wilkinson at wide receiver 2. Judy getting up there in age, now more of a role player. Judkins is in the 90s. Shedeur's into the 90s. Obviously him inflated a little bit with that +5. We have one of the best young tackles in the league. I think our offensive line, if we can replace these guards, will be one of the best offensive lines in the league. The defense now has Mason Graham as a superstar X factor. Spiller didn't get robbed of his dev trade. I mean, he was top 3 for Defensive Rookie of the Year, so he shouldn't have. I mean, shout out Mason Graham for killing it. How about that? We're going to start the, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to accept the 5th-year option on Proctor because of how, like, the modded roster works. I wasn't able to get, like, the proper 5th-year options for, like, Mason Graham and all those guys. So I got to pay those guys next year. And that 19 Proctor is probably going to be 25, 26, 27 per year. So at least I get him on a 19. It's going to save us a couple bucks. Like, I don't even want to look at free agency. We are saving our money for next year. Next week 3, I'm going to be spending $1 trillion, I imagine. We need to leave the first 2 rounds of this draft with 2 new starting guards. So I used my 3 focus scouts on top of my overall focus scouting on the interior lineman. We got Kerry Fox as a first rounder, Moore, who's a first, second rounder. On the right guard, we have Webster, who's a clear-cut first rounder. I'm not gonna lie, I just pretty much went with the guy that had the B pass block and B run block in all these categories. Let's get both of them. Let's find a way. I might have to be aggressive in the second round. Well, we'll start at pick 27 in the first round. We'll go Kerry Fox, get the first of our true first-round talent players. 40 reps, elite strength, should be good. Ends up being 16 in true value at 27 with the dev trait. Hell of an athlete. So I want to be aggressive in the second round. We're going to jump from 27 up to 5. It's going to cost me my 3rd round pick, a 6th round pick this year, and then the 4th rounder we got for Grant Delpit. But with that selection, we're going to be able to come up and get a sure thing at guard. I was waiting. I was going to see, like, okay, we got to make sure our dude's still here. Webster's still on board. Don't want that talent to dry up. And we go from 2 great guards, and there's a top 10 player right there. Boom! I need a kicker. Well, do we finish with a borderline generational kicker? Look at this. Derek Lindstrom, A, kick accuracy, great in kick power. I'll be shocked if he's not a top 10. Ooh, wow. Does have a dev trait. We'll take that. Thought he'd be a lot higher in true value, like top 10. So with the draft recap, we get Fox, 75 dev trait, Webster, 75 dev trait. A couple mid picks. Just, I don't know, I'm letting the board dictate itself. Needed a backup quarterback, have one on the roster. And Lindstrom, 71 dev trait for a kicker. Special teams on point. A little bit of a mixed bag to start this season. We're coming a little bit early because it is going to be a rip the Band-Aid off. We have all of our rookies. Oh, no, it's going to be so expensive. Well, if I had to be honest, and we got to be ruthless with our contracts, Denzel Ward might have to be gone. Even then, that's not bad, though. I thought that contract was going to be a lot uglier. We don't need Surratt. We got to, okay, first we got to do Shedeur. And if that's not a bad deal. I thought the number was going to be a lot higher. Let's see if we can get him maybe 6.5 and 9, 4 years, 62 million. So you can work with that. We didn't get priced out, which is great. Thibodeau's earned a new contract. Newsome in the secondary. He's looking for 12 million. What if I get him at 2 years? I think we're gonna have to probably let Denzel Ward walk. But I mean, it's only $8 million for 1 season, and he wants to stay. Wants to finish his career out. That can't be said for very many players when you're talking about Cleveland Browns. So we got that. We got Schwesinger, needs a contract, 5-year, 93, a lot for a linebacker, but he's been a beast. Judkins has killed it. Do we pay a running back? We have Dillon, something like that. 4-year, 46, 48. We'll probably get that one across the line. We have Brailsford at center, but center is a replaceable position. Harold Fannin at tight end. But, I mean, he's kind of just been, like, he's been I feel like this is an offense. We got Luke Reynolds, who I believe is under contract for an extra season. I think we save some money there. And I think we go Judkins. And honestly, I think Thibodeau's earned a contract extension. Let's go 12.5, 12.5. Will that get it done? 3 years, 75. Probably 77, 78. I don't think we're too far apart on Thibodeau and Judkins. We're at $500,000 more. We got Judkins locked in long term. And the exact same for Thibodeau. So was it as easy as last year? Year 4 going 13-4 and winning the division. This year had to... Honestly, I think it did come down to that win over Buffalo week 18 to get into the playoffs. 3rd place in the division. Yeah, 6th seed. Our defense, good. Run game, good. Our pass game, honestly, the best it's been. And for a lot of the year, Shedeur was in that number 3 spot that's now held by DJ Lagway on the Detroit line. Shedeur, hell of a year. 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks. We got him for a $62 million contract or whatever it was. Value. That is outstanding value. Running the ball, Judkins justified his contract. 3,000-yard receivers. Fannin, the only guy that we didn't re-sign. And again, I think that's replaceable. I think with Reynolds stepping in, should be able to get those numbers next season. But I love seeing that. Jordan Tyson's been awesome in this rebuild. Defensively, JOK. Myles Garrett, second on the team in tackles, 21 TFL, 16.5 sacks, 12.5 for Mason Graham, 9 from Thibodeau. Now, the fact that we had to kind of pick and choose contracts, and he has a down year, his worst year since he's been here in Cleveland, kind of stinks a little bit. Hall, I'd also like to see him. He kind of plateaued. We gave him that $100 million contract, and it's kind of been Mason Graham that's been stepping it up as of late. Denzel Ward, love seeing that. The veteran who we brought back on 1 year, led the team with 4 picks. Am I getting a little annoyed that almost every year our team doesn't have any award winners and this league is just disrespecting us? Yes. Am I annoyed also that pretty much any other year you play Madden, Myles Garrett's just winning Defensive Player of the Year all the time, and he's yet to even sniff it? Yes, I'm annoyed. But let's just channel and funnel all that towards hatred and dominating the Houston Texans on the road in the wildcard round. They're very good. Balanced, top 10 offense and defense led by C.J. Stroud. This is kind of like if we lose, there's no shame in it. But we do win, and we dominate. Only give them 8 points on the road, 24-8. Hell yeah. Shedeur Sanders, 3 touchdowns, no picks, over 250 yards. Tyson and Judy stepping up defensively. We got a sack from Hall and Graham, the interior. Caleb Spiller, the superstar safety, with a pick. Into the divisional round, we get ourselves a divisional rivalry. The 13-4 Bengals, your AFC North champs, and Joe Burrow might be the best quarterback in the league right now. 4,600 yards, 43 touchdowns this season. The number 1 offense, number 1 passing offense. We know how freaking good they all can be together. Joe Burrow, Chase, they got Tate, who they drafted out of Ohio State. That was, they poached him from us. I honestly think that's why they picked him, because we were desperate for a wide receiver that year. 91 overall offense. I mean, look at the ratings, though. Our Browns roster. This should be very interesting with the AFC Championship game on the line. And we get it. Let's go. 33-28. Little bit of a run. It is Jet Wilkinson. That's what we're going to call him. Freaking Jet Shout. You know. 12 catches, 245 yards, 1 touchdown, an undeniable athlete. We drafted him as an athlete to put him in the slot. And you got 2 sets of jets on him, dude. Turbo speed. What a freaking performance. All right. I mean, I'm not going to... It feels like a Cinderella run because we haven't had crazy playoff success. But the fact of the matter is, we might have the best roster in the AFC. 91, 91, 92. We are so much better than the Bills. Give the Bills the advantage. They have great playbooks. I love the Bills' defense. Probably my favorite defense in this game. Their offense is led by Josh Allen. Come on, baby. Year 5. Let's cash this one in. Yeah? 3 touchdowns, Shedeur Sanders? Yeah? I think that's a win. Goddamn right that's a win. 24-21 overtime. Let's clutch. He just finds a way to win, or view it the Bills curse. I don't care. The Browns in year 5 are in it. Shedeur with the rushing touchdown, did it himself. Jordan Tyson, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 TFLs, sack and a half. Mason Graham, sack from Thibodeau, 2 sacks from Myles Garrett. This defense is terrifying. And if we do find a way to win a Super Bowl, it's going to be on the back of that defense and Shedeur carrying the offense. And the Super Bowl matchup is against DJ Legway and the Detroit... Oh, man, they're... Whoa. 4th offense, and both run and pass, they can beat you. 3rd defense with a respectable passing defense and a very good run defense. Well, you know when they want to run the football, and our run defense is the best in the NFL. This is going to be tough. A lot of times, I want to cash out here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, a lot of pressure. Let's get out of here in year 5. I had to pay all those guys their contracts, and we're still fine. So it's not all doom and gloom. This is not an absolute must, but I would absolutely appreciate it if our team, who is across the board the more talented, can get into the Super Bowl and win. But I'm a little curious with Detroit, man. They got DJ Legway. Who else do they have at this point? Legway at quarterback, Gibbs, St. Brown. They got Zachariah Branch, who was the top wide receiver the year he came out. Okay. Really good offensive line. Familiar faces. Hutchinson. They got a guy named Armando Blunt. Wyatt Wilkins. They got Christian Wilkins at some point. Nice little veteran presence. Their linebacking core led by 90 superstar Jack Campbell. Their secondary, however, they got great safeties, but at corner, there could be an advantage for us. And I don't want to, like, just be all doom and gloom, but if we don't win, our team's just going to be that much better next season. We are, yeah, you know, we're losing, you know, Harold Fannin at tight end, but we have a tight end replacement. Like, anyone that we are losing, I'm confident we can replace, and everyone that we're keeping, another full season of growth and development is going to make us a juggernaut next season. We're 91 overall. We'll be 93, 94 overall come next season. So it's almost, I hope for the league, that DJ Legway takes this night off in the battle of the twos and let Shedeur Sanders get out of the wing, because our team, if we have to run it back next year pissed off, we might run the table. We might be undefeated. Well, let's see what we can do. Oh no, turnover. Those goddamn safeties, dude. Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch. But we get the instant touchdown. 7-7 ball game, field goal. Why are we settling for field goals? Let's just be super aggressive. No more field goals. We go into halftime. 14-7. And that's how that defense show up. I like our defense more like their defense. 14-14. Everything to play for in the fourth quarter. Trading punts. 1 minute. 40. We're going to just go play by play. Can Shedeur Sanders win us a Super Bowl? We start with an 8-yard reception to Quinshon Judkins. We follow it up with incomplete to a 0-yard pass. That's what I'd love to see. Let's just waste the clock and then get sacked. Terrible by Shedeur Sanders. Like, you can't have it because you know they're going to get it. DJ Legway, cannon of an arm, 40 seconds to get into field goal range. Maybe not. No one wants to win this game. We are going to overtime. Okay. We get the ball. I mean, it's playoff overtime. Let's just hope we score. Touchdown, and then the rest, we'll see what happens. 7-yard run, Judkins. We're keeping a balanced offense out here. 3rd and 13, we get a... Why are we just... We're just not trusting Shedeur at all. And then we're going to punt it. Not get a gong, touchback. And then the ball is in Detroit's court here. Not looking good. Got to need to stop here. No. I mean, no. Like, that was just, what a fucking cowardly drive. In overtime, just like, run. Not going to let Shedeur win it. We're not going to even give him a chance to win it. Take the ball out of his hands. You know Prime on social media be losing his mind. How did we take the ball out of our quarterback's hands there in playoff? It's just... It's a Super Bowl! It's not a preseason game. Fuck! No time to bitch and moan, man. We gotta just run it back. We're gonna decline the option on Tyson so we can pay him. Brailsford, we're gonna let... That's not that much money. I don't want to have to draft a center. I could totally draft a center, but I'd rather focus on just kind of going BPA, finding needle movers, finding difference makers. And I would like to keep like everybody, but you can't keep everybody. We're going to let go of Surratt, who was our wide receiver too for a couple years. A couple 80s. I mean, I wish there was comp picks. That'd be nice. Just browsing free agency. Don't necessarily need something. Good to know. Detroit might not run it back, losing Sewell to free agency. That is quite a loss. But I think for us, I mean, we don't really have any needs whatsoever. We let our tight end walk because I just want to save some money there. I'm not going to go spend more money on the open market. Ooh, Malachi Starks is out there, superstar safety. Interesting. But more so, I just want to see who signs Harold Fannin because I appreciate everything he's done. He's developed nicely. Just can't pay him. Congrats to the Titans. You got yourself a good one. As we go into this draft, I kind of looked at it through the lens of, like, what do I need? Like, what is missing on our depth chart? We're one linebacker short for our base front. I could have, hypothetically, looked at who's going to be set for contract because our budget's getting a little bit tight, but I kind of have a little bit of an all-in approach. So I scouted 3 linebackers, the fastest, best athletes, and we found one right here. Alex Saunders from Florida. Go Gators. A-zone coverage, B tackle, B block shed, elite speed. That's why I picked him 4.46. He's a day 3 pick. So I'm contemplating maybe seeing if we could trade our... I mean, we're not going to be able to get our first for a future first, I don't think, because we're in the I don't know. I'll be honest. I'll break the sense of immersion. If I'll take the best offer for our first round pick, because then that will be my break glass in case of emergency. If things don't work this year, I can't re-sign everyone because I'm kind of going all in. If it doesn't work, we'll have a bunch of high draft picks next year to replenish what we likely will lose. Now, I don't really want to kick the can down the road 2 years' time. I don't think it'd be that bad. I'm looking for a 2031st, which we would get from Seattle. We got that from the Roo. Good doing business with you, Vegas. Appreciate you. In the second round, we're going to go get our guy here, Alex Saunders. Hopefully he has a dev trait, but again, it's just kind of shoring up the defense. Our one weak spot in base. We're a little bit of a linebacker short, and we get that here. 28 true value at 63, and he pops with a dev trait. Let's go. Didn't do much outside of that. Didn't love the draft board. We got a full, when your fullback's like your next best from your draft class, kind of reflection of what the board was, but we needed one linebacker. I wanted to trade up for a future first. We got both those things off our checklist. And Saunders, 74 with a dev trait. Probably going to see the field quite a bit as a rookie. So usually rebuilds, realistic rebuilds, all that stuff is 5 years. Unfortunately, if you're going by like old school scoring, we were unable to do it. We were unable to bring the Browns a Super Bowl with Shedeur Sanders and their 2025 draft class within 5 years. But rather have the video abruptly end with a wet fart of, sorry, it's over. We're going to go to overtime. We got year 6 here. I think this team should, I mean, again, we should have, could have last year. We made the Super Bowl. It was a coin toss. Went to freaking overtime. This year, we absolutely should be able to run it back. Offensively, everyone's better. We did take a slight regression from Harold Fannin to Reynolds, but it's not that big of a drop-off. And I think by the end of the season, all these guys are going to be probably 2-3 overall points better, giving us a well over 90-plus offense. The defense is terrifying. We got 2 superstars back there in Schwesinger and Spiller. Corners is nice, even though we're starting to see some regression in Myles Garrett. And Denzel Ward's regressed quite a bit, even though last season he was our most productive corner. But our D-line is terrifying. 97 X Factor, Myles Garrett. Mike, 91. Thibodeau, 86. And Mason Graham has been absolutely incredible. What a monster. Put it all together, fellas. I'm thinking at minimum. I mean, this team could go 10-7 again like last season. But I'm thinking 12-win minimum. Mid-season, we are 5-1. Our one loss came week 1 in the Super Bowl rematch against the Detroit Lions. So they still have our number, even though they lost quite a bit this offseason in free agency, which is annoying. But as we hit the contract time, we're at 118 mil. We might not be able to throw the sympathy offer there to Denzel Ward. We got to pay the big dogs first. So we got Myles Garrett, 2 years, 73. Okay, let's not have bad negotiations here, Myles. Let's get on the same page, bud. 5-year, 172. That's $172 million for Jordan Tyson. He's earned it. 5-year, 219 for Mason Graham. He's earned it. But we're going to go for splash over substance, as I'm going to continue to prioritize keeping Myles Garrett here, which means I just have zero chance of re-signing probably the best young tackle in football. Please win the Super Bowl this season. Please. So we got Myles Garrett signed. Didn't cost a whole lot, like about $1 million more. How far? We're 14 mil apart. The salary cap goes up next season. It might. I feel like even worst case, if I can like franchise, there's no way I can't get this done in 7 years. Like worst case. There might be like a franchise tag situation. Then I move some money around and we restructure some deals. I just hope it doesn't come to that. And there we go. The first time in the rebuild. Took us 6 seasons. We are the 1 seed. We go 14-3. We win our second AFC North title in that 6 seasons. Our defense is elite. Our offense is kind of what it's been to this point, which is serviceable. Holy, wait. I just saw 26. Okay, my webcam. I'll move the webcam just for a sec. Look at CD Lamb. 26 touchdowns. So he's getting a little bit of that game-breaking numbers that we've seen from Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. For Shedeur Sanders, 3,800 yards, 35 touchdowns, 10 picks. I think it's fair to say an absolute bargain for the contract we gave and the play that he's giving us right now. 1,100 yards, 3 touchdowns from Judkins. Touchdowns are falling off the map. Tyson continues to be our best receiver and one hell of a bronze medal, right? Remember, we wanted Jeremiah Smith, couldn't get him. Traded 2 first-round picks to get Ryan Williams. Mock draft lied to us. We had to get Jordan Tyson, who we did still have scouted as like a first rounder. Helped that he rolled a superstar dev as a rookie. That was very awesome. But he's been incredible. 19 touchdowns, 1,100 yards, just under 1,000 for Wilkinson and 7. Judy's a good role player. No drop-off whatsoever between Luke Reynolds and what we had in Harold Fannin. So that gamble worked out. We have 19 sacks, Myles Garrett, 17.5 from Thibodeau, 10.5 from Mason Graham, and 6 from Mike Hall. I would say, I suppose, in hindsight, I love seeing Spiller, our once-upon-a-time superstar dev rookie safety, with 4 picks. I'm looking at how the budget's tight right now. Probably paying Mike Hall what we did. We should have just been like, all right, this is Mason Graham's D-line, and save that money elsewhere. But then you can also make the argument, like, because Hall's out there maybe doing the dirty work, it frees up all these 3 guys to get the big box score numbers. Believe me, man, not one award winner. Not one award winner, and we get to play the Chiefs. That's late Chiefs. Sometimes late game Chiefs aren't as overpowered. Oh, no, Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. Is it offense versus defense? You know what they say? They don't say it because it's not true. Defense wins championships. It's an ugly win. It's a win. We beat the Chiefs. If you beat the Chiefs, you can beat anybody. And we got to run the gauntlet because we get probably the second toughest team to run into from the AFC side in the Baltimore Ravens. But look at that 2017 clutch performance. Shedeur Sanders outduels Patrick Mahomes, who's an old man Mahomes at this point. Tyson goes over 100 yards. Defensively, Garrett, Hall, and Graham all with sacks. We get a Greg Newsome pick. And it is... That's a rivalry game right there, folks. I feel like now more than ever, like this current generation, it's been, you know, Baltimore's kind of been the big dogs in that division. Like, since I've been a fan, it's always been up and down. It's always been teams taking their turns. It's never really been the Browns, unfortunately, outside of that Peyton Hillis year. You know, the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger, and then you had, obviously... Joe Burrow and the Bengals making their Super Bowl run. And then you have Baltimore and Lamar Jackson winning on the MVPs. Now it's time for Little Bro now. Ravens are good, 88, but Little Bro Cleveland Browns, 91, 91, 93. The best defense in the NFL. We'll upgrade our players because I'm a little worried. Because if we don't win this one, we're probably going to have to do heinous things to our roster to try and re-sign Caden Proctor. We can't lose the Joe Thomas successor, finally, for the Browns. I'd rather not deal with that. Come on. Oh, shit. Let's go! 27-14. Suck it. And it's Shedeur with a modest performance. But he gets the win, the most important stat. Dominating second half. We just pitched a shutout. They got no points in the entirety of the second half. Fighting for their season. Hell yeah. That's exactly what you need to do. Nothing crazy offensively. They got a good defense. But we're like, we're going to control the line of scrimmage. We're going to force some turnovers. And we're going back to the Super Bowl. The matchup is set. The 14-3, 91 overall Cleveland Browns against the 10-7, 88 overall Seattle Seahawks, led by Kenneth Walker, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. I do want to, because they are one of those teams, like, what the hell do they have a quarterback? Did they commit to Darnold? Like, did he develop into a guy, or did they draft a guy? And they drafted a man known as Blake Hayden. Second-year man out of Florida. So he would have been from the first generated draft class. That guy's a problem. Scrambler quarterback. See it, Shedeur? The embarrassment of falling to the 5th round. The disappointment of losing in overtime in the Super Bowl a year ago. Knowing that we are in almost every measurable form the better team than this Seattle Seahawks squad. Let's have a good game. I don't want a pedestrian game from Shedeur. I don't necessarily need him to take over and go nuclear. Have a good game. Let's score some points. Let's let our defense and run game speak for us. Do the talking every now and again. I don't love it, but we are kind of tied up. I will say, because we're in extra innings here, I will hop in every now and again to help this team get across the line. Because that's what it's about. It's about winning the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to throw up a bunch of touchdowns and win, but in a 4th and 5, where clearly we shouldn't be settling for a field goal, let's move the chains here. Go to Wilkinson. Shedeur not having a hot game, but not turning the football over. 118 yards, 1 touchdown. Can we make it 2? We can. 21-21. But a huge 15-yard penalty on JOK sets up Seattle. Ooh. Come on, fellas. Tie this one up. Oh, we go for 2! I love it! In the sham, they say, we're not doing this again. We are not going to overtime. We go for 2. The ball's on Kevin Stefanski. I'm going to just role play. That was Shedeur. Shedeur said, let's win this right now. We're not going through it. We do not want history repeating itself. And the Cleveland Browns, after 6 long seasons, after having an outstanding draft class, even though it kind of felt like auto-draft at times, adding Mason Graham, adding Shedeur Sanders, adding Judkins at running back. Harold Fannin was great for us. They've put all those pieces together. And alongside Super Bowl MVP Shedeur Sanders are finally Super Bowl champions. As we always like to do, let's take a look at our player stats and what they were able to achieve in our rebuild before we wrap things up. Shedeur Sanders, just under 23,000 yards passing, 189 touchdowns to 76 picks. The picks were an issue the first couple of years of his career, but really once it came time to get paid, he tightened up those interceptions and was playing like a top 10 quarterback. Judkins at 6,500 yards, 45 touchdowns. He was solid, maybe not above expectations, maybe never brought back that like peak Nick Chubb run game. But the run game was certainly always an asset. Jerry Jeudy, hell of a second half of his career. Didn't work out with Denver. Thrived here for wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, most of his career. 4,500 yards, 54 touchdowns. For Jordan Tyson, who was definitely our best skill position player of the rebuild. Defensively, JOK, 800 tackles. We got 191 sacks for Myles Garrett. One more year, and he would have the all-time record, which I assume he would have hit. 76.5 sacks for Thibodeau. Did a lot of that. I mean, played his best football with a Browns logo on his helmet and not a Giants logo. We got 56 sacks, 88 TFLs for Mason Graham, who finished his career as an X Factor. He was incredible. What a player. 31 picks for Denzel Ward. We got double digits for Greg Newsome as well. And that'll do it, fellas. Our first post-2025 NFL Draft Madden 25 realistic rebuild of the Cleveland Browns. I hope you guys did enjoy. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Please leave a comment down below about what team we should do next. Should it be the New York Giants? Could it be the Raiders? Could it be someone that I'm sleeping on? Let me know in the comments. I will go with the most requested suggestion. And you do all those things to help out the video. I very much appreciate it. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace. I love ya. Have a good one.